It is October. October
Mhm.
is historically very bullish. So and remember, it's only the second. So
Mhm.
for monthly candles, especially even in the Hex PulseChain ecosystem, which we can kind of switch over to now, probably. Um,
No,
you know,
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
we've seen what 6-7 months of down erased in 20 days.
Yeah.
So historically October is usually a good month. So we've got that to look forward to, and it is the same. The cycle is the same until it isn't. We've got to prove that it's not before all these great ideas of a different type of cycle, a delayed cycle. Now we do have the whole country's economical issues and all that good stuff to kind of figure in. But again, I haven't seen much difference. We're still on the same pattern as before.
Mhm.
It's a little different, but it rhymes, right? It's very close to what it has been historically. So
Mhm.
it should be a good month. It is October, and yeah, we'll have to see how October plays out for us.
Well, I'm glad you did just say that because it will be interesting to see how October behaves because September, I mean, as markets usually do, everybody had it so baked into their minds. It's like, oh, September's always red. It's one of the worst months in,
Hmm.
Bitcoin's history and everything. And we had a green month actually. And I think it was, kind of a byproduct of August just being absolutely abhorrent. I mean, like the beginning of
Right.
August, yeah, we just had that like terrible, terrible dip that one weekend, in all world markets. But yeah, September was really green for crypto, obviously, the whole way through. And then I think that's partially why we probably saw this sell off too. Like, forget about, I know everybody's going to assign, war, this, that, the other thing to it and everything, and that's fine. But we just flipped over to a new month. I mean, a lot of times, like on the closing of a week or a closing of a month or a flip over like that, you will see volatility. Like that does happen from time to time. So, and again, like you said, we're 2 days in. So we'll see how
Right.
October goes. But
Exactly.
looking at PulseChain, beautiful what you just said. 20 days, months and months of horrible price performance that people are bitching at each other, upset, horrible mood, just terrible, terrible sentiment erased within a couple of weeks. And it's insane that this happens in crypto. We say it all the time. People say it all the time. And unless you've experienced it before, you just don't buy it. You don't believe it's going to happen. And hey, we're not out of the woods. I mean, the prices of this ecosystem are still decimated. I'm not acting like that. I'm sure nobody's celebrating like, oh, okay, hey, I'm good now. But it shows you how quick this stuff can turn on a dime. So Pulse chain prices right now, we are looking at Pulse a little bit over. I'm trying to get away from even saying sack rate anymore, but a little bit over 50% of the sack rate at 4 zeros and a 534. Pulse X 4 zeros 315. We have incentive token up at 273. Hex, which man, the hexes have just been like in fuego here over the last couple of weeks. So Hex is at 1.4 cents right now on its own. We were just talking about 1 penny combined Hex and celebrating it within the last week. I think it was last week or like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and EHEX at 003 almost here, 0029. So, yeah, everything has been up. Once it goes, it goes. I mean, you just see how quickly this happens. We were sitting there at those bottom ranges. There were many people, and look, I'm not going to say they couldn't come back. I don't think they will. There's no way to know for sure, but there were plenty of people like on Twitter and stuff saying, I mean, on our own channel, sell all the PulseChain core ecosystem tokens right now and buy them back 50% cheaper because I'm telling you, it's just like, dude, you do not want to be like, forget about whether you end up being right or wrong in a bull market. To do some kind of short-term bet like that is just absolutely a stupid move. It's like shorting a bull market. I mean, when you're in
Yeah.
bullish times, it's just not a good idea to do that, especially for people who are already long-term focused. They're looking to be here into 2025. It's just like horrible, horrible advice. And I'm sure that person didn't actually do any of those things on their own. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway.
So very few people make that right call as as things are falling. If you wait too long and try and pull one of those moves because you're like, crap, I should have sold back at whatever it was, it starts eating at you, and you try to make that play, and then it turns around on you, and you get left behind. And that's why that whole saying of people selling bottoms actually happens.
Mhm.
They don't always do it intentionally. They think they're going to sell and buy back in if it does dip again, but it doesn't. they could be the last of the exhausted, sellers. And there just aren't many more left because they've been sitting there looking at it for so long. And it's eating them up that they try to make a play to double their bag even, and they don't make it. They miss it, and it runs away from them. Yeah, I believe that too. Sellers are exhausted. They
Yeah.
have been, just not the time to make that type of play. So yeah.